Amitabha Buddha salutes the people. People woke up this morning. The first idea is, do people remember the Buddha? People remember the Buddha, but do people have the heart to pray for the dead? The masses are Japanese. I will recite a few verses to connect with you before we learn the teachings of our ancestors. Okay. A-di-do Buddha, A-di-do Buddha. A-di-do Buddha. I ask Amitabha Buddha to send me to the West. Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha. So, this day's reception will continue, quoting the pure education of Master Thenas. The masses are. The great students read the process and share with you. The Master is like teaching. If the worldly conditions are still heavy, our ability is still poor. You should also take some time while you are busy. Try to find some silence in the noise. I can recite 10,000 words every day, or 10,000 or 3,000 or 1,000. Should determine the number of hours not allowed to be skipped a day. Although working, whether it's a big thing or a small thing, we must also turn to the West. If you use it like that, not only firmly grasp the birth, but also to raise the dignity. It's a phase of the Master. God teaches us to advise. We're about reciting the Buddha. People know that one of your words is here. He said if the world is heavy, my ability is poor. Here you want to talk to the Buddhists. With the lay people outside, the charm of the family. Still bound. I have to worry about my wife. Let your husband worry about his parents. I really mean it. Our spiritual practitioners. First, you have to be responsible. It's our own responsibility. Your responsibility as a wife is to be devoted to your husband. The responsibility of being a mother is to remember her children. It's about letting go. It's not about letting it all go. Being outside is not about letting go of everything. Let go from the inside. It means we're worried about you, we're worried about the wife, we're worried about the husband. Take care of your parents. It's my responsibility. It's my duty. You have to be responsible in this world. We took on the name Mother. It's the right responsibility. It's a mother. Our name is a son. It must be the right duty. Children must nourish their parents, whether parents know the religion or not. Do you know the Dharma or do you not know the Dharma? Buddha or not, but I am a child myself. What is the responsibility there to nurture parents? As they know how to recite the Buddha, I advised them enough. I told them to pray. It is good that they can recite the Buddha. Don't be too nervous. Don't be too pressurized. You'll have a status for your family. If you don't practice, I won't let you eat and sleep. If you don't talk to me. Sometimes many people practice without understanding. It's natural for the family to stir up. Or is naturally be his mother. It is my duty to obey my parents. No matter what the parents are. Don't be loud with your parents. 3 mothers without reciting the mothers who are not vegetarian are perverted. It is hell to see. We use that attitude. This is a completely wrong way for parents. And it's my responsibility to do it. It's like reciting the Buddha. I know the victory of reciting the Buddha. You know what the vow of God is. It's the seed that my staff sowed. In many lives, many lives. I went to my mother's house and had some staff come to this family. Some employee comes to the husband, wife, son. But it's not necessarily the right thing to do. Let's do whatever it takes. With my actions, with my attitude, I practice the true religion. I get along. I'm glad, I'm comfortable. Everything is easy for people to learn. And the more you practice, the more difficult it is to understand the religion. Not clear Buddha Dharma. The Buddha's teaching is to teach us between people. Treat people like that. Respect each other, respect each other. There is a clear class. The Buddha taught us all these things. In the immeasurable life cycle 32 or 33 BA for something. It's been a long time since BA 7 BA 8. Don't recite it. Take a look. The teaching is very clear. It's not that we're superficial. It's called not knowing. Here he said if the worldly conditions are still heavy, even if my ability is poor, I should buy it. Take a little time in the busy. Try to find silence in the noise. It means that in that binding family, in that matter right responsibility, right duty, when we have free time, we find out. When we go back inside, what do? Our lives we have to keep. We have to take care of our own lives. What is that? In the middle of the world, we are doing our duty. Wife the husband. Between all the world, I know how to nurture my mind. I know how to nurture my life among people. It's about how we treat people. Gentle love, respect parents. Filial parents, respect wife, respect husband. For you, we love to teach clearly. Seriously, what is this guy? Who practices the Buddha's teachings? Practice the Di Da vow. You know at Sao, the Buddha. China takes us back to the ecstasy of the West. It's all trees up there. The wind, the water, the birds sing. It's all about what the kite is doing. Are teaching us. They're educating us up there. Now we're a newborn son of that. Let go of the teaching. Let go. I'm not responsible for you anymore. So why in the beginning did we give birth to it as chi? What did we create it for in the first place? Once built. If we create, we ourselves must be responsible. But in that context of responsibility, then I know that the enmity of reciting the Buddha, I know that in this life I have met the Buddha Dharma. To meet this Buddha title is 1,000 lives difficult to meet. If we are not fortunate enough to remind them, be in yourself, use the work for good, recitation of Buddha for good, treat people well, so that people feel that the person who recites the Buddha is happy, is gentle, is loving. So what are we doing? Praising Di Da, are praising the vow. They're praising our Buddhism. And the more we practice, the more we discord. The more you ignore your parents, the more we learn, the more we hate upset with my parents. Let's take a look at ourselves. Let's take a look at ourselves. It teaches us to walk the right path, teaching the moral path, teach the way of love. It's not like that. You learn with an AIU. Who taught you that's not smart? We're going the wrong way. So the more people who study Buddhism, the more harmonious. It's very peaceful, because Sao is so adept at understanding the will. Understand the meaning of prayer, understand the nature of the practice. It's not that we let go of everything. Let go of everything and we do that. It's a mistake. To let go is to let go from within. Angry at my mother. I swear I am old sometimes. Is nasty little old pissed little. But let your parents down. Husband and wife sometimes quarrel with each other. Everything has a cause and effect. Blame others instead of yourself. To modify oneself, let's just let it go. What is it? It's about putting it down, not worrying. Not teach, not tell, no matter what. Let go. What is that? It's heartless. My parents that I let down, I don't feed and don't worry. It's heartless. It's a lack of morality. Your husband told you I'm lucky. My husband whom I defamed speaks badly. It's mindless. It's the wife's lack of morality. The lack of responsibility of the wife. Your children are not taught where to go. I also hate teaching. Then that's something that's heartless. A mother's lack of morality. This place is very important. Who studied religion will never have that happen. Master Kwong is right about responsibility, right duty. But here you teach. In those circumstances, if you are busy ... but still have some time to recite the Buddha, that's what he skillfully teaches us. In that employee situation, that we can recite the Buddha, this proves that one thing, this person is really a willing person to pray for ecstasy. He really knows how to nurture, cultivate your own life. Then this man Buddha never abandoned and never give up. Here he said he could recite 30,000 verses a day. 1,000 questions and so on are important if you teach them. So make sure the amount of time is not locked. Permission to miss a day. You see, hips, the great doers, every day you report the recitation data to you, true to your teaching. In the past, there was a false chain plus string, and now there's a digital press. It's more convenient. Then I use this medium, I recite the Buddha. 1 day is the minimum. More or less, you can recite 1,000 to 1,000, depending on the job. In my free time, I think a little more. A lot of things are a little less, but always set the number for yourself to define this mind. So, don't give it a sunny state. When it rains, what is this called? Psychotic oscillation. We have to learn what you teach. Each day 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 depending on the job, but we have to quantify it. Keep time locked for clear. So, the Japanese say to mornings and to nights, you apply it according to the method. Lord of the Rings. It's so amazing. It's a 45-minute session, and AI can do it. Everyone who is not, depending on the job, without keeping that lock. It's more or less kept for a while, or when to wear it. Follow this digital shader. I want to remind myself that I have to try to remember that there is not enough memory today. Try to recite a sentence that feeds your life. Remember, one sentence is to sow the Buddha's one thought on building faith. Remember a sentence that is in harmony with the Maitreya vow. Remember a sentence is a universal Buddha. Recite a verse 10 directions the Buddhas jointly exclaimed. A Buddha's phrase for the deities arises. How many things benefit us? Why do we not remember? Why don't we hear about this? As you say, Li Bingnan is the teacher of Master Tin No. He said that the Buddha's name was too strong. No, the Western world is too ecstatic to win. I know that God is too angry to win without thinking. Buddha pray for life. This person is not stupid. And the words of the Master of the Holy Spirit is not Lai Min Nom, and all residents. This person who is not stupid is also crazy. Because it's so good, too hostile to win. It's so special that we don't remember. We don't want that. On the contrary, many people are defaming. Let's reconsider this place. We feel we are so lucky. Glad to hear these. Appreciate the time. Peaceful moments for us to recite the Buddha. Here you say we're not a force. We let go of everything. He said if the world is heavy. What is that? Who are also heavy in the world if they have free time? Let's practice. As modern say, in the company career work all the time, when there is no time, you can recite the Buddha. Even if you go to the toilet, silently tucking small lips, the Buddha is also. Our mind is clear, our mind remembers Buddha. Buddha is everywhere. Buddhism is very egalitarian. It doesn't make a difference where it's dirty. It is important that we remember the Buddha, to recite the Buddha or not. The title of Buddha where the light spread there. You have to remember this. So, that's what happens when we focus on birth and death. We see impermanence quickly for us, even if the world is heavy. Be responsible for them, but in the right to be responsible to them. In that job, I knew that my life did not hold. No one can worry about me. My life does not hold. No one can catch me, no matter how busy you are. But in your free time, remember to recite the Buddha when you are free. It is good to remember a word, one sentence. Here he says try to be so gentleman. He said to quantify it. The time must be clear. Don't miss a day. For example, to say that the recitation of thing is not to interrupt. We've given our whole lives to Dida. Take this whole life, this life is entrusted to Dida. Then day by day recite the Buddha, day by day remember the Buddha. Take this whole life and build authority. Recitation of Buddha's request for people ecstasy. Remember their whole life, not one meal a day. It's not interrupting this meal, it's not interrupting 2 years ago, 2 years ago, 2 years ago. It's not about birth and death. That's why Cho has the habit of holding back the movement. It doesn't seem to use the mind. Practice with a sincere mind. Be honest even in the circumstances, noisy adversity ready. But still know that impermanence comes to us quickly. Our lives don't keep AI for us. Think here, think here, think here. Try to recite the Buddha. Try to recite the Buddha. See here again, no matter how small or big the good is. We must also turn to the West. Here's a secret. It's a great trick. Let us build our faith for ourselves. This is a modern place over and over again. The self, Master Chan, can be seen as the founder of the Pure Land. 10 virtues of the Pure Land he also taught. Why do you say big or small for big things? Because of a small thing, to shape our minds. No matter how many things come to us, what comes to us, we also think that this great good, this small good big career, this small career, it's not the same as being born. Western ecstasy. So, he said, whether you can do a big thing or a small thing, we should also turn to the West. Let us identify the target. It is clear that one thing. This life recites the Buddha. It's because of the birth. Everything in this world is for the sake of the dead. You can see clearly hip. They teach very well. It's very clear. If we capture these problems, in this life we secure the birth part. People used to read these. People don't notice. That's what all the great speakers of Sao have to say. Every high rise is mentioned. Even if you do small things, every good deed, big or small, is devoted to the living. That's great. The main animal of the Pure Land is even more special. He said that evil works are also good deeds. What does it mean? I know I'm wrong. I'm evil. The mind turns to repentance. Use that sincerely contrite mind to dedicate to the past birth. Then any officer in this life. Mindfulness is all because of the dead. Recollection is to take the Buddha's mindfulness to vow to be born again. And everything that supports good works, or do anything, they all pray for life, to give it the most focused direction. It's a wish for the West. Even if it is a great thing, it is also because of the dead. The small thing is also because of the small thing. It is also because of the Buddha. The most focused direction, one of the most important things is to pray. This place you've heard about. It's not that simple, gentlemen. If you can do that, you're very comfortable. Sometimes people yell at me. Suddenly I looked back and said, in the future, I will see them guilty. As I see it, once you have faith, some people complain that they will practice. Slowly we read those words. My future is born. They complain that they are poor. Too bad. It must be a sin to recite the Buddha to the West so that they naturally love them and thank them. Give me a little help to build that trust. Gentlemen. So, today I'm going to read these parts. Then we try to listen to build our own faith. One more stage. Work like that. Not only firmly grasp the birth part, that raised the dignity. Now I can do it. Now let's not talk about dignity or not. What dignity? It's okay to be born. It's okay to be born. So, today you guys listen to these stages. Try to make an effort. Here, even if the burden is heavy. It doesn't matter how much work there is, but you advise me, your life must be kept when you aim. Their hands have love. They have love. His family, his wife, his children. How much he loves himself. But once the impermanent sickness comes, no one can afford it. Couples can't support each other. Children can't afford each other. My parents love me so much, I can't carry myself. Why? Because it's my own life. I worry about where I'm going. I died. Whether I am lost or dead, I will solve it myself. No one solved it for me. It's called eating rice. Who eats all the eggs is here? So, the birth. It's not a compliment from a person. It's not a criticism of one person. That makes me able to live. They made me lose my life. Whether you can live or not is up to you. The great work of birth and death. I have to take care of myself. We have to take care of ourselves. No one can take care of us. I heard about this phase today. Repeat it again. We are busy trying to find out. A quiet and noisy place to recite the Buddha. It's nice to have a little time. This is a real person. The true use of spiritual practice. The believer wants to pray for real life. He said, "How much work are you really busy with?" Even though the Buddha is small, my mind is already sincere. The Buddha is surely born. Do you remember? The Buddha is surely born. Even if there is grace, no matter what, the world is still heavy. But not so. You just have to have the right mind to recite the Buddha. Free to remember Buddha. If you have free time to recite the Buddha, you will surely be born again. Because our mind is genuine. Buddha never leaves us. Buddha loves me too. Buddha said, "This little girl, this guy has a lot of work." He was so busy that he was free to remember the Buddha. It takes time to remember the Buddha. This guy has to take it back. This kid can't leave it. That's it. As you go into the company now, even though you are busy, you try hard. The boss sees you. The boss loves you very much. So now try a Buddha as a father and mother. I see how busy I am, but still remember the Buddha, still pray for the birth. This is the real mind. This is the real mind. Then surely the Buddha did not abandon himself. Surely the Buddha did not abandon himself. Get the big share here today. Receive grace. Read a section to end the sharing. Read it again. The Master is like teaching. If the grace is heavy, my ability is poor. You should also take some time while you are busy. Try to find some silence in the noisy place to recite the Buddha. I can recite 10,000 words every day, or 10,000 or 3,000 or 1,000. Be sure to determine the number of hours. Not allowed to miss a day. Whether you do a good deed, big or small, we should also turn to the West. If you use it like that, not only firmly grasp the birth part, but also to raise the dignity. I hope people will listen to these efforts. It was a matter of life and death that was resolved. Have decided, I know this life is my last. This body is my last body. Give me this body. Let's entrust the spirit. This mind is completely given to Amitabha Buddha. Then remember the Buddha. Goddess will for this life. The Western world is in ecstasy. Then let's take things lightly, boo. I wish the people a lifetime of prayer. I am determined to return to the Western world. Non-tissue AD do Buddha.